Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Red Bull Grand Prix of America, and looks like Rossi has got a really good start along with Alex Rins and Mark Marcus. Rossi tries to brake really hard, and Rossi had a stoppie there, and a bunch of riders behind Rossi making a lot of contact with each other, but looks like Rossi is right now a bit more comfortable compared to the riders as he's managed to maintain a gap, and Mark Marcus, the king of Kota, will do everything to beat Rossi here, and he knows, Mark Marcus tries the outside move, and he has made a move at the inside of Rossi, and Rossi's really struggling to maintain the grip. And Dobby almost had a stoppie there. Dobby forced to run wide because of defensive move from Rossi, and he has lost a bunch of positions. A lot of riders have made use of that. Even Jack Miller, the satellite Ducati rider, and also the factory Ducati rider Danilo Petrucci. And looks like Mark Marcus is in a really good form. Rossi trying to brake hard as possible to close the gap. He's trying to brake as late as possible at the same time as well. And Carl Crutchlow, as you can see, is in the third position, and looks like Rossi might get a slipstream from Mark Marcus after this particular straight, and looks like he has done it. Rossi brakes really hard. Rossi had a bit of a stoppie there. Mark Marcus will definitely look at the inside once again and make a pass on Rossi as well. And Carl Crutchlow doing a pretty good job, and also Maverick Vinales and also the Petronas Yamaha rider Fabio Quartararo. Both the riders has got a really good start, so it's not a really bad day for Yamaha if you consider the combined points of these Yamaha riders, and looks like they're having a fun time today. And Danilo Petrucci is still behind Jack Miller, and Danilo really knows that he need to finish ahead of Jack Miller in the championship, because that is really going to help him to get the factory seat at the Ducati next year. And there's a lot of questions being asked about who's going to ride the factory MotoGP bike along with Dobby, in case if Dobby is going to sign the Ducati deal. And Rossi is still leading the race. Mark Marcus might take a look at the inside, as he will be getting a slipstream most probably. And Carl Crutchlow having a good pace right now, and Fabio will try to do everything to defend his position from the Ducati riders. There's a lot of pressure being built up behind him, and Mark Marcus and Rossi really trying to find good pace. And Mark Marcus almost was pushed a bit wide, and looks like who's gone into the second position. It looks like it's Alex. No, it's now a fight between the satellite Honda and the factory Honda rider, and it's Mark Marcus and Carl Crutchlow fighting for the second position. Both of them trying to make a move on Rossi right now, and it's Carl Crutchlow. There's a contact between Mark Marcus and Carl Crutchlow. That's not good news for Honda, and looks like the one who's trying to take the benefit out of it, it's the other factory Yamaha rider Maverick Vinales behind Rossi, and Rossi still leads the race, and looks like the Yamaha team might be really happy with the move Vinales had made, and it's now 1-2 for Yamaha. But looks like Carl Crutchlow has got a really good drive out of that particular corner, and looks like he has overtaken Maverick Vinales. And not just him, looks like even Mark Marcus might make a move, but Carl Crutchlow doing a wonderful job right now. He got a really wonderful drive, and now looks like Fabio has also taken an inside move on Alex Rins, but no, it's still Alex Rins in the fifth position, and it's still Jack Miller who's reading the Ducatis, the factory Ducati tries now, and looks like Dobby is finding it hard to make a move on Petrucci and Jack Miller. He need to find a good pace as soon as possible, and behind Petrucci it's Franco Morbidelli, the Petronas Yamaha rider, trying to stay with these. Dobby had a moment there. Dobby almost lost the rear of the motorcycle, and he was blocking Franco Morbidelli at the same time, and Dobby was really struggling with the rear grip in that particular corner, but looks like he still managed to stay on the motorcycle. And what a race filled with drama here at the Kota Racing, and looks like it's still Maverick Vinales leading Mark Marcus, and Mark Marcus might make an inside move, but no, it's not what happening. It's still Jack Miller who's leading the Ducatis. Nothing has changed in that particular lineup, and as you can see, it's the younger brother of Alex Marquez who's in the top 10. A good finish in case if he manages to finish the complete race in that particular order. And looks like a lot of things are there for the young rider to learn, and looks like he will adapt to everything as soon as possible. Dowie is really struggling for the rear grip. As you can see, he's chattering a lot. The bike is chattering too much. He's not able to control it, compared to other riders. He's trying to be as aggressive as possible, but unfortunately I think that is going to destroy his tires, and by the end of the race he might really struggle with the pace. And this is a hot track, as you can see, and it's still Marc Marquez in the third position, and Marc Marquez need to find an answer to make a pass on Maverick Vinales, who's in the third position, and it might be Valentino Rossi has been passed by Carl Crutchlow, but Carl Crutchlow has provided enough slipstream for Valentino Rossi, and Valentino Rossi tries to brake really hard and had a bunch of stoppies there, and he has made a pass on Carl Crutchlow. Looks like that is one of the favorite corners of Rossi, and he has passed a lot of riders in the same particular straights and also in the same corner. Looks like Rossi is doing a brilliant job right now, and Rossi tries to escape from Carl Crutchlow, and he knows that the Honda riders, when they find the pace, they are going to create a lot of pressure by the end of the race. So he need to find a really good pace and also need to escape from the rest of the riders, and Rossi trying his best to do that. And Marc Marquez still behind Carl Crutchlow, and he has made a move on Maverick Vinales, the Yamaha factory Yamaha rider, and he need to find a solution to close the gap on Carl Crutchlow. And this is going to be a race filled with drama, ladies and gentlemen. We are at the Red Bull American Grand Prix, and we are watching a lot of action in this particular race. And looks like Rossi has managed to create a decent gap from Carl Crutchlow, and we can see even Marc Marquez is also evenly spaced from Carl Crutchlow as well. And behind Marc Marquez there is also pressure being built up from the factory Yamaha rider, and also the couple of Ducatis behind him, and looks like the Ducati positions are still similar, and it's Jack Miller who's leading the Ducati even now. And Marc Marquez trying his best to close the gap on Carl Crutchlow, and looks like he's trying to be as smooth as possible to save the tires by the end of the race. He is playing some kind of mind game here, as you can see. We can see he's having a lot of pace. He is able to ride more harder and more he's able to look further into the limits, but looks like he's slowly trying to close the gap, and it's Rossi and Carl Crutchlow right now in front of Marc Marquez. Looks like Rossi has got a wonderful exit out of the corner. He lifted the motorcycle as soon as possible, and looks like now it's again going to be a fight between Carl Crutchlow and Marc Marquez. Ladies and gentlemen, remember that they had a contact, which was a really bad contact, and looks like Carl Crutchlow was not really happy with that move from Marc Marquez. That was a pretty aggressive move from the Repsol Honda rider. Rossi struggling to control the wheelie there as the front wheel lifts up, and it's again Jack Miller trying to be as consistent possible. As you can see, Fabio, it's not Fabio, I think, yeah, it's Fabio Quartararo has made move on the both factory Ducati riders. So as you can see, it's the satellite Ducati rider who's the lead Ducati right now, and behind the satellite Ducati rider, Australian rider Jack Miller, it's Fabio Quartararo, the Petronas Yamaha rider. And looks like the factory squad is really struggling to maintain a really good pace, and looks like even the younger brother of Marc Marquez, Alex Marquez, has made a move on Dovi, and that's a disappointment and a disaster for the factory Ducati team. As you can see, it's still Rossi who's leading the race, and we are approaching the final lap, ladies and gentlemen, and this is Red Bull American Grand Prix, and it's Carl Crutchlow who's in the second position. Both the Honda riders need to find some kind of a pace to close the gap on Rossi, but it looks like Rossi has already escaped to distance, and Rossi is maintaining a really good pace. Now definitely it's going to be a fight for the second position between Marc Marquez and Carl Crutchlow. Looks like Rossi missed a bunch of apex there, and looks like Carl Crutchlow has managed to close the gap on Rossi as well. Rossi had made a bunch of mistakes. Looks like Rossi is struggling with the rear grip. Rossi slowing down, ladies and gentlemen. Carl Crutchlow has managed to close the gap on Rossi, and it's Marc Marquez who's hunting down Carl Crutchlow as well. So both Honda riders trying their best. Carl Crutchlow has made an inside move on tried an inside move on Valentino Rossi, but Rossi defending his position in a brilliant way. Rossi tries to brake as hard as possible. He sliced the rear once again. Carl Crutchlow has made a move once again. Carl Crutchlow has overtaken Valentino Rossi. Now Rossi has to find the slipstream and make a pass on Carl Crutchlow. Looks like Rossi had got a really good exit, and it's Rossi in the first position, Carl Crutchlow second, and Marc Marquez third. Marc Marquez has found the slipstream on Carl Crutchlow. Marc Marquez taking the inside line, and Marc Marquez has made a pass on Carl Crutchlow, and it's Rossi versus Marc Marquez for the rest of the last lap. Looks like this is going to be a lap filled with a lot of drama. Marc Marquez and Carl Crutchlow. Rossi again ran wide. A really bad mistake from Rossi. He's going to help the rest of the riders to close the gap on him if we continue to make these kind of mistakes. Rossi need to find a really good face. Rossi takes a defensive line, but that was not required. He could have carried more corner speed into that corner, so he could have a better exit, but looks like he need to find a clean line, and Rossi really struggling with the regrip. As you can see, he has lost the tires completely. Now the rest of the Honda riders is closing the gap completely. As you can see, Rossi tries to take Rossi again lost the drive once again. He ran wide, and it is going to be a last corner attempt from Marc Marquez. Oh, Rossi ran wide. Marc Marquez has made inside move. Rossi cuts back. Rossi has taken the lead back. Rossi wins the race, ladies and gentlemen. What a wonderful victory for Valentino Rossi.
The acclaim of the fans on their victory lap. Let's take a look at the final ranking of today's race.
So, ladies and gentlemen, it's Rossi who's the winner here, and Marc Marquez, he had a really good fight, and Rossi never gave up, even though he was struggling with the tires. And Carl Crutchlow, what a wonderful podium for Carl Crutchlow. Then Jack Miller in the 4th position, and then it's Maverick Vinales, the factory Yamaha rider. We expected a podium, but unfortunately he was not able to do so. And then the satellite Yamaha rider, Petronas Yamaha rider, Fabio Quartararo. As you can see, Riders' Championship led by Rossi with 50 points, and behind him it's Marc Marquez, then Carl Crutchlow in the 3rd position. Wonderful job from the LC Honda rider. Then Fabio Quartararo, the Petronas Yamaha rider, a good job from him as well. Then Jack Miller, and then Maverick Vinales, and it's the Ducati rider Danilo Petrucci and Andrea Dovizioso behind them. Then the Suzuki rider Alex Rins, and then Alex Marquez in the top 10, the Repsol Honda rookie. As you can see, Yamaha still leads the team championship, and behind them it's Repsol Honda, then the Ducati team, and similar in the constructor championship as well.
This rider has been able to impose a frantic pace on today's race, and now he and his mechanics are rightly going to party. These days, the podium is extremely valuable. MotoGP has never had so many competitive riders at the same time. Today, they were at their best, and they deserve to celebrate. The level of the championship is only getting better. Consistent results seem to be the secret to a good season.